wanted to share with you a quick overview of the tool that we use with our clients. This is the cover page of the cash flow and forecasting tool. Once we have all of your data and everything, we completely build out and customize the tool for you. So then I can share with you the additional data that's in there, but essentially all of this data here is fed into this page at a high level from other tabs within the tool itself. You can see that it's color coded, so you are able to see where you're at against your goals. And then we also have a lot of visuals and charts, graphs, and whatnot. Because I mean, I'm certainly visual, but obviously with my clients being so, in the creative field, they are, far more inclined to look at these visuals than at the numbers over here. But the numbers are obviously important. We create these revenue goals based on where you are from a profit perspective. So let's say your monthly expenses, the average of your monthly expenses is 30K, then we want to obviously have that revenue goal with a certain margin for some profitability success. And so we create these revenue goals once we've got that data ahead of us and in front of us. So this is your cover page. Basically, that revenue is built out by quarter so that you can see it from a high level. We use these buckets differently depending on the client. Some of my clients have different streams of revenue, but otherwise we use this as your baseline goal, and then we also have stretch goals as well here. Everything in this tool is customizable. So what you're seeing here is typically what we use as the bones, but if clients need anything on top of that or want to see anything on top of that so that they can visualize something within their business, then we can absolutely create that. Because we have access to your data, we can really run with it and create any sort of thing that you might want to see. Moving on to your P&L page, we create a P&L for each year. And essentially what you're seeing up here is your condensed revenue, expenses, and profit, and that's by month. So it's essentially a monthly view of what these quarterly and annual look like here. And then you're very easily able to see if you're profitable that month. So green means profitable. If you're in the red, then that means that you're not profitable. This is an example, it's a blended example of a real client from last year. And what you'll see is we laid out all of this revenue. We built out the tool for her. We started working with her in July, and she had said, I'm doing the best that I've done in years. I'm making anywhere from 10 to 20K in revenue. I'm just thrilled. We built out the tool for her. We got all of her revenue, all of her expenses. And I said to her, we've got good and bad news. The good news is, yes, you're absolutely crushing it. From a client perspective, you've got a really healthy flow of income coming in, and it's super gratifying to see that you are hitting above 10K on a monthly basis as a solopreneur. That said, you are not profitable. You're not really actually making any money because you're spending so much. And so because we're able to visualize that, you can very quickly make changes. So essentially, the other thing that I saw here was, because it's laid out in a visual way and it's right in front of you, I find that in QuickBooks, if you see all of the data, it's just also jumbled that you almost can't really figure out what's actually, going on behind closed doors. But from here, because it's all laid out with, the clients here month by month, one big thing that stuck out for me that I said to her was the biggest issues that I'm seeing is that you do not have sticky relationships with your clients. You don't have retained relationships. It seems like most of your relationships are project based. And therefore, if you're doing one-off projects all the time, you're probably pretty stressed as to where your next paycheck is coming in. You probably don't necessarily know, what May is going to look like or November is going to look like, and thus you have a difficult time making those difficult decisions, right? So when it comes to determining if you have the funds to invest in a website or a subcontractor or paying yourself or anything along those lines, it's hard to make those important business decisions. It's hard to see, do I have the ability to take a 1, 2, 3 week vacation? And when can I do that? When can I scale up, scale down? And so with this tool, we're able to really completely change that and make sure that you're able to confidently make those decisions. And I'm, obviously alongside you all throughout that time to make sure that we're being really strategic and smart about it. So again, this is the revenue portion. I can explain further as to what these mean, but essentially up here, if you see in the key, the blue means that the invoice is not yet sent. The red means that the invoice has been sent, but you haven't received it yet. So it's kind of like an accountability thing so that it all doesn't have to be in your head. If it's in red, that's a reminder to really be on that client about getting it back to you. Sometimes, obviously, some clients are slower than others in paying their invoices, and that way it's just good for accountability. Blue means that you have not yet sent that invoice, so you want to make sure that you get it out on time. This is all information that we can definitely get into later on in our work once we get moving. But then these are all of your expenses. We want to make sure that I like to set aside profit cuts for my clients and make sure that, regardless of where you're at from a revenue perspective, we're putting some of that away so that you are continuously saving money on a monthly basis. And then all other expenses are laid out here. This is something, once you send us over all of your data through a template that we provide, then we completely build out, customize, get all of this in here so that then once we're moving and grooving, we don't really, there's not a lot of manual work in terms of getting this built out because it's already customized for you. There's also a pipeline. Once things, this is obviously pretty detailed, but the things that I care most about are the status and your next steps. The status, once you get into a place where you feel pretty confident about that negotiation, you feel pretty confident about the fact that you'll be moving forward with that client, we then bring it over here. This is where we get a little woo and manifesty, but we then bring it over here and put it in yellow. So what that does is it then, again, from a visual perspective, you're able to see how that would impact you from a revenue perspective and how that could impact, planning for different subcontractors to bring on and how you can really start to forecast and plan everything moving forward. So that's the pipeline. We've got some sample monthly business review agendas, as well as a payroll calculator that we've built out specifically for founders and for subcontractors. And then some of our clients are also have a side subscription-based business. So we have built out a tool on that end as well. But the way that it works is in the first 2 weeks, we make sure that you have a template to really share all of your revenue expenses with us. And then from there, my team and I work to get that tool built out with you for you on our end, and that typically we tend to ask for 10 days for that. So the goal is that by within 3 weeks, we've got this tool built out for you. From there, we schedule a strategy session to really talk through goals, hammer out what we want to be focusing in on, the highlights that I'm seeing from your data and how I would really tackle things, and what the challenges that I'm seeing based on your data, the stories that I'm seeing there. But then in addition to that, also walking you through the tool itself to just get you comfortable and confident using it. And from there, we then have a monthly meeting. And so that's really an accountability and strategy session on a monthly basis. Because this is a live tool, we are able to create a copy of it on a monthly basis to then enable you to see how you've grown from month to month from a revenue perspective, where you've grown, qualitatively as well as quantitatively. And in between those sessions, if you need an additional quick strategy call or quick touch point, we're also available to you there as well. So yeah, that's a quick overview as to what everything looks like. We also do have a tier above that offering that kind of gets me a little bit deeper into your business, and it's essentially double the amount of time. The scope is expanded and doubled essentially, so that I can really become more of a core member of your team.